The chocolate Dyson. While on the surface impractical and ostentatious, hard-shelled Dyson spheres actually can be made and would have some purpose. Perhaps there would be motivations we simply don't understand behind these grand, colossal structures. With that in mind, I am D.L. Morris, and today the Polyverse presents the hard chocolate shells of Dyson spheres. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever we put out more great content. First proposed by physicist Freeman Dyson, Dyson spheres were originally conceptualized as a cloud, perhaps asteroid-sized artificial environments that completely encircle a star to make full use of all the energy of that star. This would be what we now understand as a Dyson swarm. Modern pop culture may have perhaps been popularized by the Star Trek Next Generation episode Relics, in which Picard et al. Saves Scotty from transporter hell, but that is beside the point here. Many have said that a hard-shelled Dyson sphere is not a workable solution, including the YouTuber that I referenced in this video, which could be said to have inspired this presentation, due to gravity issues and even the fact that, due to thermodynamics, the sphere cannot be hidden. But of course, that assumes that someone wants to hide. But we'll get into that later on. Yes, construction would be a problem, but even a hard shell can be constructed of separate pieces that could support themselves as well as link to others that for all intents and purposes would be one, even if they can be treated as separate. This would be similar to epic level modular design, like one would use for a bridge. These separate units could then support a lattice of lighter material that could act as the inner surface. Think, again, bridge or building expansion joints. There is also the potential for ultra-space-age materials, perhaps non-standard quark material, whose specific properties we can't know until we actually make it in sufficient quantities to study, let alone use it, whose strength could be enough to support such a structure. There are also many concepts for active support matrices. For incredibly informative look at these structures, Isaac Arthur has a brilliant series on the concept, and others, in his Superstructures series, partially responsible for this presentation. The short of it is using thinner ferrous materials in a chain orbiting faster than orbital velocity, upon which one can mount other magnetic materials so that is effectively stationary over the surface even though the support material is in motion. And there is also the possibility of using particle acceleration devices to accomplish the same feat. The main reason it is said that a hard-shelled Dyson is at best impractical, if it can even be constructed, is that in the absence of artificial gravity, only the equator of this structure would have gravity, which would lessen as the latitude increases. But of course, that only assumes spin in one direction, in this case longitudinally. But if you are able to make a construct of this size, why would you have to stop with longitudinal spin? One could, in theory, introduce latitude spin in addition to longitude spin, and this would create a gyroscopic stabilization. Whether or not this is beneficial to the structure, who knows? The combined spins might even reduce the speed at which the whole structure needs to travel in any one direction to get enough gravity for a race to live on. Or, the net strain might be more than a problem than the benefit. The number of these spins could be increased from there, though 3 would cover any possible true movement. Any additional would just be along the same lines, just a slightly different area. And so anything more than 3 would really not add anything to the structure. Just make it a bit more complicated. Another issue many have is, due to thermodynamics, this construct would not be hidden. But of course, that assumes that the race building it wants to hide. If you can build a structure like that, why would you want to hide? While it is dangerous to apply human ideals to aliens, we really only have ourselves to make a reference to. And in our case, we do build skyscrapers because we can. People have climbed Mount Everest because it was there. A hard-shelled Dyson could be built as an example or proof that they are the masters of nature, construction, etc. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and weep. It could also be viewed as a sort of beacon. Come to us as friends, and together we can work towards whatever goal we decide is mutually beneficial, or stay away because we have the ability to destroy you. Additionally, sometimes we confuse security with privacy. The builders of this sphere may not care if anyone else knows where they are, just so long as they don't know what they are doing within the sphere, such as a super secret research base. There are also other more scientific possibilities. A completely sealed ultra mega environment where everything could be controlled. No risk of gamma ray bursts wiping out the test subjects, no risk of other astronomical phenomena interfering with the research, and the fact that there is just so much area that even ultrasaur-sized beasts would be insignificant compared to the lab that they inhabit. Perhaps even super mega-sized planets that could be more of a benefit than just, hey, look at these big motherfucking plants! This would be the largest single lab complex possible, depending on the size of star it orbits. And the amount of scientists, researchers, and aides, etc., available to the race that built it would radically alter the nature of science, making the impossible possible. Maybe even figuring out how to reverse entropy. Or, if this is the second such structure, it could be one badass preserve or vacation destination. Imagine the roller coasters we could build on such a thing. Another problem with hard-shelled Dyson spheres is the inner surface of such a construct would effectively have no day-night cycle. But that could be easily, relatively speaking, mitigated. An inner set of panels also orbiting the star in those 2 or 3 axes so that the entire surface could have some kind of regular day and night cycles, the lengths of which could be controlled with the rate of spin of all surfaces involved, that could be controlled. There, of course, never would be a true night, as the reflected light of the rest of the surface would always be seen, but it would be the cycle that is important. Now, we do have to deal with heat issues. It is the eventual and end byproduct of all activities that anyone has ever done. And we can't really use it directly, and even using it as in nuclear reactors to make steam is grossly inefficient. But we do know how to move it, and to a certain extent can store it. If perhaps this kind of tech could be made bigger and more efficient, like some kind of thermal dynamo, which could perhaps be used in the active support structures, again making it utilized instead of wasted. But even if that usage is not possible, the heat could be moved to a place where it could be dissipated to steer the system should that be desired, or for sphere defense. Again, the goal would not be to do hide, because that's impossible, but to mitigate other problems and to use things to the maximum extent possible. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you did, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and have a look through our archives. Have a great day.